Get out of my way, boy.
No. I'm not afraid of you.
Picture, if you will, the scene of the crime. Nestled along the superhighway near USIU sits the lavish apartment and what the biggest Mogidista in the country calls home. Redwood Apartments. The time, 6 a.m. February 22nd, 2023, when the apartment's caretaker, to his horror, notices a truly gruesome scene. The dead body of a known man in his 20s is lying at the ground floor, facing up with his head open and his trousers pulled to his knees. It is assumed he died of suicide. However, the windows facing the body are all closed, so it's impossible to know where he fell from.
Honestly, I don't even know where to start.
This would open one of the most chaotic crime thrillers to hit the nation.
What am I missing? Crime scene? Weapon? Motive?
Every house has a story.
Lawrence Njuguna Waguru, or DJ Fatxo, is a Kenyan DJ and musician who, by the numbers, is entering the peak of his fame. Only 25 years old, he has a record label, a DJ academy, and is working with some of the biggest brands in the country. But like a Jenga game, one bad move and everything seems to be falling apart. Let's take a look the night before the body was discovered. 3:27 a.m., 6 people comprising DJ Fatxo, Jeff, and 3 ladies arrive at Fatxo's house, which is on the 10th floor, after leaving Quiver's lounge. Jeff, an interior designer, had visited to deliver some interior deco materials for Fatxo's home and office. Jeff had met Fatxo through one of the 3 ladies, Faith Mutanu, who was a long-time friend and a business partner to Jeff. Shortly, DJ Fatxo's cousin and Fatxo's driver arrived to the apartment in a different car. According to one of the 3 ladies, the 3 men locked themselves with Jeff in the bedroom. From the living room, they could hear commotion. Jeff was crying. A fight broke between the 4 men and Jeff might have picked a few injuries. To what extent? Some of his teeth are missing and his forehead is completely disfigured. An hour later at 4:48 a.m., Fatxo and the 3 ladies left the apartment, leaving the cousin, driver, and Jeff behind. It is important to note that Jeff was not familiar with the two. At 4:54 a.m., Jeff attempts to call his mother on WhatsApp before his phone goes off. The cousin and the driver are then spotted inspecting the apartment's parking lot at around 5:30 a.m. The driver is wearing a hoodie, a mask, and he got gloves in his hands. Within the same period, the cousin is seen making a phone call. At 5:39 a.m., the cousin and the driver are then captured entering the lift at the ground floor. At 5:40 a.m., the two exit the lift at 10th floor and head straight to the house. 7 minutes after heading to the house, at 5:47 a.m., Jeff's body falls from the apartment at the exact place where the cousin and the driver were surveying moments before going back to the building. He is facing up and his pants are drawn to his knees. 2 minutes after Jeff's body hits the ground, at 5:49 a.m., the cousin and the driver go live on Instagram. 6 a.m., the management comes knocking on all houses with windows facing the direction of the body to inquire about the situation. Every tenant opens except DJ Fatxo's house. They assume they are asleep. No one knows where the body came from. Almost 3 hours later, that is few minutes past 9 a.m., Fatxo returns to his apartment alone. There's a crowd surrounding the body. He casually glances at the body. He looks unsurprised, unhinged, and unnerved. After taking a nap, Fatxo wakes up a few hours later and heads straight to the police station to report that Jeff is missing. The way Jeff's case was handled also raised a lot of suspicions. Despite Fatxo recording a statement with the police, the OB read unidentified male between 20 and 25 years, which raises the question, did Fatxo fail to identify Jeff? Another issue was the postmortem was delayed. The government pathologist was unavailable until a week later. On paper, this sounds like a mere bump on the road, but it becomes worrying when you realize that in case of a sexual assault, the autopsy needs to be conducted within a 72-hour window. February 23rd, a day after that disasterful night, at around 7 p.m, Jeff's fiancée, who we will call Mary, receives a call from Faith Mutanu, one of the 3 ladies who introduced Jeff to Fatxo. It's been 12 hours plus since she last heard from Jeff. Gladly, she picks up the call, hoping Faith has answers to the whereabouts of her partner. To her surprise, Faith had no idea where Jeff was. However, what was random was Faith asking whether Samido, a popular musician, was Jeff's uncle. Weird, but she answers yes, Samido is Jeff's uncle. Faith's sequence of events was DJ Fatxo left the apartment at 7 a.m. to head to the studio and left Jeff asleep. Fatxo would return later at 11 a.m. when he finds out that Jeff had left, leaving his shoes and jacket behind. Mary would however doubt the credibility of that story, considering you need the host's biometrics to leave the apartment. To that, Faith responded that maybe either he passed out in the rooftop or maybe he is within the apartment but at another friend's house. As we now know, the statements given here are inaccurate. Recounting on the news of their son's tragic demise, Jeff's parents said, quote, "We called DJ Fatxo and asked him whether he had seen our son since they had been together on the previous evening. He arrogantly told us not to disturb him and instead wait for the police to call us and inform us of his whereabouts." End of quote. And with that, let's get into the theories, which we will divide into 2. Why Fatxo is
guilty
and why Fatxo is not
guilty.
This is the most agreed theory. The guess could be that before Fatxo and the 3 ladies left the apartment, Jeff might have accidentally died. This might sound a bit of a stretch, but hear me out. According to one of the 3 ladies, a fight broke between Jeff and the 3 men. After the fight broke out, they might have accidentally injured Jeff. Either from panic and confusion, the group decided to stage it as a suicide. However, a major downside with this theory is, why were his pants drawn to his knees?
And
how accidentally can you beat a man until you crush his head? Also, the murder weapon, which is a pillow, did show that Jeff struggled before his death, which rules out the possibility of an accidental death. This is the last video Jeff sent. Notice anything weird? These 3 girls look tense and unrest. It's as if there's a calm before a storm and Jeff is the only one unaware of what is going to happen. Or he has actually read the room and is sending a distress call. The presumption could be when the 3 men locked Jeff in the bedroom, that is Fatxo, the cousin, and the driver, they took rounds sexually assaulting Jeff before beating the crap out of him.
You can't keep getting away with it!
The guess could be that Jeff might have threatened to expose them, and for them to take him seriously, he had to tell them that Samido was his uncle. At 4:48 a.m, Fatxo and the 3 ladies leave the building, possibly to create an alibi, leaving the 2 gentlemen to dispose the body. Jeff, nearly alive, tries to send a distress call, which could explain the call picked at 4:54 a.m. The 2 might have seen him try to make the call and switched off his phone and possibly choking him with a pillow, this time leaving him unconscious, which explains why he never screamed for help when the 2 left the house. And although it may sound like people are judging these 3 men harshly, their past isn't looking any good. In 2019, DJ Fatxo's dancer, a young man, died just 2 weeks after shooting DJ Fatxo's music video. 3 years later, July 2022, in the crack of dawn, a man falls from the 5th floor of a building in Githurai. The fall is fatal. Eyewitnesses report that the man was idol. However, what they fail to answer is what was he doing in those apartments, because it was not his home. That man is identified to be Eric Madhenge, a friend to DJ Fatxo. In 2020, allegedly, after Miracle Baby failed to turn up for a commercial shoot, William Rachel, ganged up with several men, walked up to Miracle Baby's friend, tied him in the boot of his car and started beating him up.
No. Wait.
Speaking to Standard Media, he said, quote, "One of them, who was heavily built, gave out the worst beating. The heavily built man is thought to be Jeff Minor, the driver, the same man who was hiding his identity wearing a hoodie, a mask, and gloves." When the Kasarani police took Jeff's body to the city mortuary awaiting autopsy, they recorded the cause of death as suicide. The only way this theory works is, before heading to Fatxo's apartment, DJ Fatxo and Jeff had gone up to 4 clubs, plus his video in the same house does show a couple of alcohol bottles. Jeff at this point may have been dead, drunk, and started acting violently, hence the commotion heard by the ladies. After starting the fight, the 3 men might have beaten him and left him for dead. After Fatxo and the 3 ladies left, Jeff decided to jump out of the house. To further credit this theory is that a story surfaced online claiming that Jeff was indeed suicided in 2019 in Ngara, and it took his girlfriend's intervention to save his life. Though a mere look at his biography tells you otherwise. Jeff was still in high school in 2019. And even if we were to give this theory the benefit of the doubt, a big shortcoming is that 1. All the windows facing the body were locked, and 2. The windows are nearly big enough to comfortably fit an adult. However, there could be an assumption that he climbed to the rooftop, which is just a floor away, and jumped off. But remember, he has a disfigured forehead, so he is barely alive.
And
what odds are there that he will fall exactly the same spot the cousin and the driver were surveying just 7 minutes prior?
also,
Suicide is out of the picture because a common consensus is that Jeff was either dead or unconscious before the fall. Quoting Simon Mwangi, "From where I stand, Jeff was either dead or consummately demobilized when
that's so
and the girls left." End of quote. Well, this is because 1. The DCI found a murder weapon. 2. If he was responsive, he would have definitely screamed while falling, which was not the case. 3. If indeed he was conscious before the fall, he would have fallen on his face rather than on his back.
It's like everybody is hiding something.
Legally speaking, Fatxo and his crew are innocent until proven guilty. Hence, for now, what happened to Geoffrey Mwathi or Jeff in the morning hours of February 22nd remains unknown.